Mario is one of those video game characters where at this point, you could put him in almost anything and it'll make sense. Throw him in a go-kart, let him play sports, make him paper, set him up head-to-head against Sonic in the Olympic Games. Listen to him teach typing, team him up with rabbits and give him all guns, learn that he finished med school, and honestly, the list just goes on. But let's take a break from that for now, and let's talk about Mario on the GameCube. Now, Mario was in a strange era on the GameCube, and no, not because he was playing sports and partying all the time, he normally does that. No, it was strange because the Mario franchise hadn't quite been as defined as it is now. You saw some neat and wacky characters, certain designs hadn't been completely finalized as they have been in recent years, and there's a certain charm to all of this. But due to things not being as defined, stuff got weird during this era. Now, the GameCube was released in the early 2000s, and you know what else was really popular during the early 2000s? Dance Dance Revolution. Mainly big in arcades, but Dance Dance Revolution, or DDR, was a game that is pretty self-explanatory when you see it. It typically has some sort of dance pad with 4 directional inputs, and as the arrows move across the screen, you must step on those inputs to go along with the beat. A Dance Dance Revolution was huge in the early 2000s, and Konami wanted to put it on Nintendo hardware. Take a wild guess at where this is going. Dance Dance Revolution Mario... what? Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. That's it, folks. I've seen it all. And I've been to Canada. Yeah, okay. I'm not too bewildered by this. Or at least I wasn't until I booted it up. Holy crap, look at him go! Yeah, if you haven't gathered by now, this game is weird. I mean, on one hand, it's like, this is a DDR game. You'd have to expect something like this at some point, but on the other hand, I did not expect the Mario characters to move like this. I mean, just look at Bowser. Look at him go! Okay, so we're gonna quickly talk about the gameplay because that's not really the main focal point here. The gameplay is Dance Dance Revolution. Arrows fly to the top of the screen, and you hit the directional input along with the beat. If you don't know much about video games, you probably know what Dance Dance Revolution is. It's that popular. But on here, you're on the GameCube. You're not in an arcade, so you can play on a controller and use the stick for the directional inputs, or you can play with the dance pad that was included with the game. I'm not spending my life savings and then some for a dance pad for a GameCube game that I'll barely ever play. This is why I have the Mad Catz with a Z beat pad. It's more or less the same thing. The only real difference is this one doesn't have Mario on it. And that's when I lost my will to live. But anywho, literally the only difference in gameplay here is occasionally Mario enemies will run across the screen and mess up your arrows. It's a fun little change, but it's not worth much more than noting that it exists, because in the end, it doesn't really affect much. And going with that, there's really only a good couple of modes to play around with. Story, yes, this game has a story, and we'll get to that. Free play and mini games. But all the mini games and free play songs can be played and unlocked within the story, so unless you want to play 2 players, you can experience everything within 2 playthroughs of the story mode. And on that topic, why don't we talk about the story itself? Everything's in this very weird interpretation of the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, just look at Mario's house. Anywho, someone steals the music keys, and that someone is Luigi, and he spreads them throughout the lands. And might I add, everything about this world isn't new. It's ripped directly from Mario parties on the GameCube. But anywho, the music keys are spread across the land, and depending on who you choose, either Mario or Luigi, have to go get them back. As you go, you defeat and overcome obstacles by dancing. As you go, you encounter mini-games, which are pretty fun but also self-explanatory, and some of them can be fun, but they don't typically last longer than 5 to 10 seconds. In the end, story mode is decent. It does the job, but if you don't lose, it'll take you less than an hour or a little bit over an hour to complete. And before I forget, there are item shops throughout the game that'll help you on your way. I don't know about you, but each one of these felt pointless and I never saw myself using any of these. But yeah, the overall story is weird, but it's charming in its own ways. And that's really all I can say about it because, again, that's not why you play this game. The real reason to play this game is to watch Mario characters do, well, this. I mean, while you're going through, it's really hard not to be distracted by what's going on behind you and screw up your combo. It just looks so funny and so stupid. But one of the most important parts of a Dance Dance Revolution game is its soundtrack and song selection. The song choices for this game range from a variety of Mario games, even digging up things from like Paper Mario, each of which is a remix made specifically for this game to fit and feel, and honestly, most of the songs fit really well. It's an enjoyable soundtrack. They also throw in some Mozart here, and why not? Overall, it's a good soundtrack, and it does the job. Well, it's a decent time. I mean, again, it's a DDR game. It really feels like there's not a whole lot to do, and I mean, there's not. The story mode's only an hour long, and when you play it, you get the whole game done. Most of the time, it really feels like they went for the bare minimum, but the story isn't really serious. It knows what it is. Gameplay is good. The Mario enemy mix-in is kind of fun. The music is great, and that's probably the best part. Minus the amazing animations of each character dancing. That's really funny. But overall, it's just a DDR game with Mario slapped on it. It was really probably only designed to sell dance pads, but sorry, I've been trying to monitor my purchases. Ever since you buy a Wii fishing rod, you really gotta reevaluate some life choices. But in the end, Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, it's a good time simply because it's such a weird game. It's kind of out there. It really kind of defines that strange era of GameCube Mario, and I like that. It's great. I love what it does. In the end, it is strange. It's weird. It's a weird Mario game, but it's charming and it's kind of a good time.